And this big black man came at me like, oh, I don't got no emotions. I don't got no emotions. It's just like, ew. If a woman want a man who's 6'2" and you're 5'3", that's not your woman. Why are you mad? A woman is going to submit and going to respect and going to be the most submissive woman when you show yourself of value.
All I'm gonna say is, Big Mel, Big Melanie. Listen, Melanie. That's my favorite. That's my review. That's my whole review. Shout out to Melanie. Ain't she pretty as shit? Hashtag you coming or you not. And my now walked in the door and she was coming.
Welcome to the That's Scary with Melanie P podcast. I'm your girl, Melanie P. And today we're talking about a little clip that asks the question, are black men comparing themselves to black women? I ain't say it. I'm going to play this clip and then we're going to talk about it.
At least, I knew that shit was getting scary when I started to watch black men comparing themselves to women. And I don't want to jump on the bandwagon of this sassy and zesty conversation because there's a lot of zest sitting over here. So I ain't got call it for what it is. A lot of zest and sass over here. Yeah. But I would never try to put me in the same sentence as a woman. And I was scrolling through my phone the other day and I saw a man talking to a woman. He said, look at you and look at me. Do you think that you're worth me? Is what he said to her. Whoa. And I said, oh gosh, shit is getting scary. Where you think that you should be in competition with a woman. And I think what a lot of that has to do with, and why I bring up that jealousy part, is because women have made strides when technically they were supposed to be behind. We lived in a day in society where that woman wouldn't have been allowed to vote, but she would have been. Still, you sit your ass at home when it came time. We live in a society where we all could not get an education. Now we do. A black woman is highly more educated than a black man can ever be. We live in a society where men statistically are supposed to be making more money, including that black man. But she makes 10 times more than you. I think the dichotomy is you showed up not being man enough. And she's being every bit of the man that you were supposed to be. And now you can sit in front of baby girl face to face and say, what are you bringing to the table? When I thought the niggas were supposed to build it. Damn.
Now let's talk about this clip because this really raises some interesting conversation points. And see, it's difficult for me because I know a lot of good black men. I know y'all tired of me saying it, but listen, in my experiences, child, with social media and even on a panel I was on recently, there are a lot of hurt black men out there who are ready to go toe to toe and argue with black women, even as it's being recorded on panels and on podcasts. And to me, it is really diabolical. Like the more I kind of get out here in the podcast streets and the more I kind of look at these panels and look at some of these men's like conversation, it really is given like black men, they're competing with black women. And it's really, really weird. Now, in this conversation, the guy is saying that black men are comparing themselves to black women. And he, as a, openly gay man, is saying that even him as a gay man, he would never put himself in the same sentence as a woman, but these black men are. So I think about a lot of the podcasts and I think about the panel specifically. And I think about just some of the conversation from the black men and some of them sound really angry. Now, listen, I'm not putting all black men in the same bubble or the same bucket, just like I don't want you to put all black women in the same bucket. But there is a bucket of black men, child, a bucket of black men who are ready to go toe to toe with a woman. They're ready to ask a woman what she brings to the table. They're ready to compare, have that woman list off her requirement or list off, hey, well, this is what I bring to the table. This is what I can offer you as a partner, when it really should be the other way around. Men often talk about how black women specifically have lost their femininity, have lost their traditional values. They don't want to submit. They have these attitudes, this, that, and the third. And one thing I want to really, really get through to black men is that a woman, specifically a black woman is going to submit and going to respect and going to be the most submissive woman when you show yourself of value. A lot of men have these conversation pieces where, women ain't what they used to be. You know what I'm saying? Women want men to be a certain way, but women are not what their mothers were. They're not what their grandmothers were. And it's just like, why are you so obsessed with what a woman was or what a woman should be? Why are you not focused on yourself? And then when you're focused on yourself and you're done with focusing on yourself, why are you not focusing on the sons and the brothers and these men who are torn and need to be healed? It's so strange to me how so many black men have all these opinions about black women, what they should be doing, how they should they need to be careful before they're single with their cats. Like, why would you even perpetuate that type of narrative on black women? And it's really disgusting to me because you have a lot of men with this whole Kevin Samuels narrative. And I can't even say Kevin Samuels narrative anymore because people are not original. Everybody is going off and saying, okay, Kevin Samuels, he got a name for himself. He was very much popular for telling women that they were only a 5. He was very much popular for telling women that, oh, you're going to be alone and single with cats. So because that became popular and men feel like, oh, well, let me jump on the Kevin Samuels bandwagon. So let me talk shit about these black women and say that we don't need your education. We don't need your degrees. If you see black women out here being top earners, getting these high positions, elevating in society, this guy made such a great point. He made a point that women in general, but we talk about black women here, they were supposed to be behind. They were supposed to be behind in education. They're supposed to be behind in corporate America. They're supposed to be behind in purchasing homes in general. I always say women couldn't even open up a bank account without a man until like 1970. And so the fact that based off what I see and based off what I read and what I hear, black women have surpassed black men. It seems to make some of these black men angry at the fact that there is a hypergamous movement. There is a soft life movement. At the end of the day, people always go in on Madame Noir and listen to Black Women, that podcast. And to me, it's weird because if you're a black man, I'm assuming that you came from a black woman. And I'm assuming that you should love black women and you should love the woman that you came from. So when you see a black woman who is being successful, when you see a black woman who is earning top dollar, who has a nice ass home, who don't have to settle in her eyes. Now, this is not for the black women who say, oh, every man got to make 6 figures. Listen. That's a loaded conversation. But it's almost like a lot of these men are triggered by these black women who have certain standards. I'll never understand why a black man is so angry at a black woman who only wants to date a rich man. Like if a woman don't want to date you, then that's not your woman. That's not your man. Why are you mad? If a woman want a man who's 6'2" and you're 5'3", that's not your woman. Why are you mad? You know what I'm saying? If a woman is better and happier in her eyes, if she says, you know what, I'm happier being alone, even if I'm with 5 cats, I'm happy being alone versus them being with a woman. Why do you bash the woman for that? To me, I feel like if we're talking about how people used to be, why don't you elevate yourself up to be like, you know what, as black men who want to raise black families and want to strengthen black communities, I don't want to see my sisters out here single. So let me connect with the black men to see what can we do as a community, as a group of people to build our black men up to a certain status to where black women feel comfortable and they feel safe with them. If the statistics show that black women are out earning black men, if the statistics show that black women are out home owning black men, if the stats show that black women are out earning and title wise in corporate America with black men, why do you get mad at black women for that? Like, people really be mad, people really be triggered with podcasts like Madame Noir, listen to black women. The podcast literally say, listen to black women, and you still mad. And I'll never understand it. People was talking about Melissa Ford. Oh, Melissa Ford, she's in her heyday. You know, she done gained a little bit of weight. She's a little bit older. And now she's saying that she don't have a man and she's happy with her cats. And we're mad that she's happy with her cats. Why are you mad? She don't even want a man. She's fine with one. She's fine without one, from what I understood from one of her podcast episodes. So it's like, why are you mad? Why is the focus on black women? At the end of the day, I don't care if a black woman earns $150K, has a 5-story house with 6 bedrooms, and drives a BMW car. She's still a woman. And most women, more women than not, want to remain in their feminine energy. More women than not want a man to lead them. More women than not want to be with a strong man, but they're just not going to settle for a man who's insecure and wants to come at Black women because they feel inferior. You know, this whole conversation, like in this clip of what do you bring to the table, this is where the Kevin Samuels era has fucked up in the Black community. The roles have reversed. The roles have reversed. The roles have reversed. Okay? Black men often talk about being traditional. They want a traditional woman to cook and clean and, you know, whatever. Are you creating an environment where this woman don't got to work and where she could be a stay-at-home mom? Are you creating that environment for her? Why are you triggered? Why are you triggered? Why would you ask another woman what they bring to the table? To me, it's giving that you want to be a woman. Like, if you're asking a woman what she brings to the table, you are giving that you want to be a woman. Because a woman shouldn't be telling a man what she brings to the table. You should be telling her what you bring to the table. And then as a leader, as a provider, making sure that you're picking a wife. Because the Bible say a man that finds a wife finds a good thing. It's not up to the woman to find a wife or to find a husband. It's up to the man to actually intentionally put intention behind finding a good woman, having a healthy Black family, and then not creating offspring that are born from trauma in single parent homes. And the thing about it is that a lot of Black men, they need therapy. And it's not even Black men. A lot of us in the Black community need therapy because there's a lot of Black women who suffer from no daddy, single mama syndrome, to where they might run across good men. And it's a very sick cycle. Some of these women, and I'm gonna just keep it a buck, child, it's not all about the men, but I feel like the man is the head, and it starts with the man. But some of these women come from broken homes, you know, come from daddyless homes, have been so single that when they get a man, maybe they don't know how to act when they get a good man, and sometimes they put some of their trauma onto a good man, then a good man turns to a bad man, and then the bad man turns a good woman into a bad woman, and then it's all this whole cycle going over and over again. So honestly, ultimately, the conversation needs to be, okay, let's sit at the table and find out what's going on. Why are the men wanting to be women sometimes? Why are the women finding the men not adequate enough? Why are the women out earning and out homeownering Black men? Because at the end of the day, I always say the strongest we can be is as a unit, is as a community. And I feel like Black people miss the mark because it truly doesn't even take Trump to bring us down, because we're really doing that ourselves. We are so divided. We are such a divided community. We are bickering amongst ourselves. We're fighting internally. Men are going against women. Women are going against men in the Black community. And we are doing the destructive work for the Republicans. They don't need to do anything in a lot of situations. We're doing it for ourselves, because at the end of the day, when a home is divided, when Black men are not marrying Black women and Black women are not marrying Black men and creating these beautiful Black families and these healthy Black families and these healthy Black children, and children are not being raised in 2-parent households and, you know, being in a healthy situation, you're just breeding toxicity. You're opening the door for people like Kevin Samuels to come in and make it a dent, an impression into youth and into men, and to raise men and to raise women and make women feel like they're not good enough in some circumstances, and make men feel like, oh, well, I'm the prize. Like, that is so feminine. Like, I don't want no man telling me that he the prize, child. That's disgusting. Like, why would a man want to be the prize? That's not giving masculine energy. A man's job is to provide, to protect, to create a safe environment, not to be the prize. Not to ask what can you do for me in terms of like the table. The man, like this guy said, you should be creating the table for the woman to come to. Black men always talk about traditional. You're not like your mama. You're not like your grandmama. But granddaddy already had a table. He had a house. He had a job. He just went out searching for the woman. Now, he might have cheated on a woman. He may have abused a woman. But people always kind of fantasize and fetishize grandma and granddaddy, but that's a whole nother story. But I'm here for the conversation for this gentleman on this clip. I thought it was great. I thought it really sparked some good conversation. Like, do men Do black men really compare themselves to black women? Look at some of these panels. I was on a panel 2 days ago, and I was just talking and having a good old time, and I made a jovial comment about, oh, he talking from emotions, because we were talking about people talking from emotions, and this big black man came at me like, oh, I don't got no emotions. I don't got no emotions. You talking. And it's just like, ew. It's like, really? You big black man coming at a girl because she just said, oh, look at those emotions. Look at those feelings. You're talking with feelings. Did not say it in a denigrating way. Did not say it in a demasculating way. But you was obviously in your feelings if you had to come to me with the big chest. Now, if another man was on the panel and he said something that you didn't like, I bet you wouldn't say nothing to him. So at the end of the day, we talk about traditional values. We talk about men and women. Play your role, because at the end of the day, if any man, I want to be in a space and an environment that if a man come at a woman in a way that's like to the left, I want every black man on that panel to be like, hold up, bro, protect black women. Hold up, bro. I might add the clip here. But anyway, y'all, let me know what you think. This is a great conversation starter, and I will see you in the next episode.